So whenever we're gonna work with the vertical mill, we wanna make sure we secure our stock correctly on the vise, right? So let's say we're gonna secure this one piece on the vise, and you wanna make cuts on the top, which is called facing, right? So I wanna face this piece. So I would be able to hold it here, but as I face this piece, there's gonna be a force pushing it down. So if I only have the sides of the vise holding it like from the side, there is a chance that this piece would actually move, right? And that's not good, right? So what we want to do is whenever we have a piece that's actually smaller or shorter than the height of the vise, then we would want to actually use a set of parallel plates, right? So the parallel plates we would find it here, third drawer of our cabinet there, and as you can see, it's all set of 2 plates, and what changes is actually the height of the plate, right? So we would want to grab whatever parallel plate and use whatever parallel plate that we'll be able to slide them in the vise like that. And when we put our piece here, it would leave enough material sticking up above the vise, right? So if this is enough for us to safely do the facing that we want to do, then that's a safe height, right? So that's how we're gonna choose the height of the parallel plate, right? The things that we have to worry about is the parallel plate has to go directly on the vise. So if there's anything in there between the vise and the parallel plate, it's actually gonna throw our placement off by a little bit. And we wanna check the same thing on this end, see? So next thing, now if we have something in between our piece and the parallel plate, it can always throw us off, right? So we want to make sure that those are always clean, right? And if there's any burrs that's actually is going to impact on that, we have to also deburr this piece too, right? I wouldn't deburr the whole piece. I would just deburr the side or the place where that's actually impacting on our cut. Okay, so we want to make sure that when we secure the stock, when we lock it, so I'm gonna pull it here to lock it. I'm gonna move my parallel plate up and down. If my parallel plate can move up and down, there is a high chance that there is a gap between, let's see if I can see there. There is a gap between my parallel plate and my piece. See? That little gap there. So one thing that we want to do is we can grab here a rubber mallet. And one of the things that we can do is actually we can push it down. So now if I move my, oops. So if I move my plate, see, I have a lot less give now. Okay. All right, so you make sure it's all the way down. Sometimes our piece, the sides of the piece, they're not, I would say, they're very off, right? Between the sides. Let's say this side would be at an angle. So what we want to do is actually we want to put some malleable, flexible, let's say malleable piece of metal here that actually when we put the piece there and then we close the vise, it would actually crush it, the metal piece, filling in the gap and making it even, right? So that's what we do with a piece of like a solder. Let's see where it is now, right here. So you can get a piece of solder. So like we would actually run a little piece of solder here on the back. And then as we crush this piece, as we crush it, we would actually fill in the space in between, and actually it wouldn't push our piece up. So the rule of thumb that I use is if I try without the piece, without the flexible metal, and I'm able to close the vise and get it tight, and actually my piece doesn't go up, that means like I didn't need the malleable piece of metal. If I have the piece of solder which is actually filling in there, and then when I close, then it pushes it up, then it means like I don't need the piece of metal there. It's actually throwing me off. So sometimes you need to use it, sometimes you don't need to use it, depending on like the finish that you have on the ends that go close to the vise or go between the vise and or between my piece and the parallel plate, right? I also try to look, so like see how there is a big burr on this side from cutting on the horizontal bend saw, and there are no burrs on this side because they're the factory sides, you know, it's how it came to me. So I would try to use first the sides, or whenever I have the sides that are cleaner, just so I don't have to actually do the work to deburr it. Because for example, if I put it like this and I'm gonna side mill this side, that would already clean this burr for me, you know, so I don't have to do the work twice. Okay, so again, this is understanding the placement and securing our stock on the vise of the vertical mill so it can work. So as again, we always use parallel plates if this piece is actually shorter than the height of the vise here of the jaws, and we want to work on the face or somewhere that actually we would have to push this up a little bit, right? And how do we choose what's the height? Is the height that I need so I can push enough material above the height of the vise, so we can do the work that we have to do. All right, thank you.